This is The After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Party live on a Christmas Eve. Happy Wednesday to everyone. And if you celebrate, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Hope you are warm and cozy and getting ready perhaps to watch a movie. We have Tim Sika with At the Movies with Tim Sika on cue, ready to go. And he's got a lot of movies to tell us about, plus his classic movie recommendation of the week. So let's get to it right now because I don't want to keep him waiting. I'm just lucky he shows up at all. At the Movies with Tim Sika. Merry Christmas, Tim.
Merry Christmas to you, Kim.
How are you?
Good. I'm tired. I'm looking forward to just chilling for the next couple days.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. I've been watching some movies. I saw there's a new movie. I think it's on Netflix. It's called G20 with Viola Davis. And it's one of those like White House Down kind of movies, you know, where the president's in peril and how will they save her? And it's a little violent, but it's, kind of bubblegum, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
It is, as Teacher Lori said, very female empowering because she plays the president and she kind of kicks ass. So that's on Netflix. So that was an interesting movie. What's your first movie?
My first movie is Avatar: Fire and Ash.
Okay.
Do you like the Avatar movies? Have you seen any of the Avatar movies?
I saw the first one when it came out and it was fine, but I'm not like a fan that makes sure to go and see every one.
Yeah, well, this is the third and a very long installment in the Avatar IP franchise. It's 3 hours and 17 minutes. And okay, so I'll get right to it. You know, these Avatar movies, and I'm going to talk about them as a whole because each one to me is kind of indistinguishable from the previous one. But right from the start, I think it should be said that these Avatar movies they're not dismissible by anybody's standards. They're epic in scope. They're dazzlingly photographed and executed. They're financially successful. They're technologically bold and innovative. You can't dismiss them in those regards. And so they are, in the ways I just described, I think they're important additions to film and to the cinematic canon. The problem for me, you kind of had a little of that in your voice when I asked you if you saw them. And it's always been the case with these Avatar movies is that as stories per se, for me, they're kind of unmemorable. They're unengaging. And as soon as you leave the theater, certainly in terms of character and story, they're forgettable. And they are films which I have very little desire because of those reasons to revisit them. I don't feel like I ever need to see them if I've seen them once. And hardly anybody I know, Kim, certainly professional colleagues and friends who just love movies, ever really talk about them other than to say, oh yeah, I saw the first one and it was okay. Or yeah, and I saw the second one and it was okay. But they're not a part of what I understand to be like the cinematic conversation in a general sense. But here's the thing. If you love Avatar, nothing I say is going to prevent you from checking out Fire and Ash in a theater. And I think everybody should see this movie in the theater. The 3D effects are the greatest I've ever seen in any movie. The 3D in this film is unimpeachable. I mean, it's overwhelmingly breathtaking and just stunning. It's jaw-dropping, really. You're watching this, you're going, I can't believe this looks so incredible. And, you know, I'm grateful for I saw this movie weeks ago at the beginning of December in a stunning presentation. The presentation of which literally took my breath away, but the story, I can kind of tell you what the story was, but it was just the same beats repeated over and over. And you know, when I looked at my phone, I wanted to check the time, which is always a bad sign when I'm watching a movie.
Yeah, it should kind of suck you in and like all time and space is gone, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, when I looked at my phone thinking or believing that this movie was almost over, only to realize that it still had another 2 hours to go, I mean, I was at the hour and 20-minute mark when I looked at my phone to check out the time, and I can't tell you exactly where my brain and where my soul traveled to in that moment. I thought, 2 more hours, I'm going to die. Anyway, so I don't know. For me, these movies have always been frustrating in the ways I described. I think the plots are cluttered, the storytelling's kind of cold. But maybe with the rapid acceleration of AI, this is what movies are eventually moving toward, and what will become the norm. Provided, of course, that we survive as a species. But if you go to see this movie, go to see it in the theater, because it really, really is an amazing visual experience in the theater. So I'm recommending it. If nothing else, it's huge bang, for your buck at 3 hours and 17 minutes. You really get your money's worth just in terms of length.
Mm-hmm. It sounds. Did you say that everything, like all the visually stunning things about this movie, were created with AI?
No, I think no.
Okay.
I was collapsing that. The movie reminded me of AI and what AI kind of looks like, but I think Cameron maintained that there was no AI that was just. One of the other things about these movies I've always gone crazy over, Kim, is that this world of Avatar is supposed to be otherworldly, and it's supposed to be some futuristic race or otherworldly tribe. And the Na'vi, many of the characters, when they speak, they use these colloquialisms like, "Oh, I'm good, cool. That really sucks, sick, bro, dude," which is so annoyingly pandering to Gen Zers. And that kind of languaging feels and sounds incongruously anachronistic. It's like, what? These people wouldn't be using those kind of colloquialisms. Anyway, that's just me personally carping and bitching, but that's another thing I never liked about these movies. Anyway,
I wonder why it didn't take off. I mean, you have, when you think about these movies that kind of take you to this created world, like Harry Potter does that, and so does I just had one on the tip of my tongue. I don't know. You have these movies that take you away, and
Lord of the Rings, maybe.
Lord of the Rings. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
and they're amazing, and you don't forget the stories, and you don't forget the characters. But these movies, they don't really stand out like that.
No, again, I think that's just because of the story, and then the way the story is told. The Harry Potter movies, the Lord of the Rings movies, they're just memorable because you just get lost in the characters and in that particular world. And even though the world of Avatar is pictorially magnificent, I don't know. Oh God, I was just glad to get out of the theater.
All right, well, let's move on. Let's get out of this one. Let's go to Marty Supreme.
Yeah, this is also a dazzling movie too, but in an altogether different sort of way. It's a very good movie too, Marty Supreme. Certainly in terms of film making, but it's not one I enjoyed or particularly liked, mostly because I found everything about it, the situations, the characters, the world that the characters inhabited, across the board, I found them unpleasant and unlikable. But anyway, it's a sports drama, this movie, Marty Supreme. It's a sports drama, semi-comedy, character study that's loosely inspired by this American table tennis player named Marty Reisman, who, I knew nothing about. Timothy Chalamet plays a character named Marty Mauser, who's this aspiring ping pong champion. So this is essentially like a ping pong drama set in New York City during the 1950s, where this up and coming and obsequiously obnoxious table tennis star Marty Mauser goes in pursuit of table tennis performance greatness. He's determined to be the best. So extremely well-made movie, razor sharp direction by Josh Safdie of the Safdie brothers, who, by the way, are both singularly directing films these days as opposed to co-directing. Benny having directed the pro wrestling drama that we talked about on your show, the Smashing Machine with Dwayne Johnson this year, which we recently talked about. Anyway, but back to Marty Supreme. Objectively speaking, I cannot find anything wrong with this movie. It's very cinematic for its nearly 2.5 hour running time. It flies by. It's an interesting character study. The film editing is impeccable. The music score is kind of inventively evocative of the 80s. I just had difficulty stomaching it. It's a space and a time and an environment which is, in one sense, it's beautifully evoked, beautifully rendered, but to me it was all so unsavory. The characters were cruel. They were all around unpleasant and just unnerving. So it was just not to my taste.
Mm-hmm.
And the story of this unlikable, manipulative, amoral ping pong player, it just left me with a sour taste in my mouth. And the question, like, well, why am I watching this, and why tell this story at all? And Timothy Chalamet, I mean, he's an actor on everybody's lips these days, but he's an actor that, to me, still hasn't figured out that to create a compellingly believable character, instead of boasting about all the research and the prep and immersion that you do, he really should start to ponder the idea of letting go of all that prep and work that went behind the character so that it becomes invisible to the audience. Lately, especially with this and that Bob Dylan movie that he did last year, his screen characterizations are more impersonations than immersions in a believable character. And in my opinion, that's becoming a problem for him as an actor. And in my opinion, is the big problem here. He kept announcing that he was acting, and that just took me out of the movie and the character, because it really is a showcase for his talents. Anyway, that's my take on Marty Supreme. I think it's a really good movie if you enjoy unsavoriness of character and plot and storytelling. I didn't like the film at all, personally.
Okay. Is this thing on?
Yeah, well, good question. Yeah, and this movie made me cranky. It's co-written, directed, and features Bradley Cooper in a supporting role. And it just made me wonder why and how Bradley Cooper is still allowed to continue directing movies. He should just stick to acting.
Oh.
But anyway, this is about a couple, very nicely played by Will Arnett and Laura Dern. They've been married like 20 years, but for reasons which we learned throughout the course of the movie, they decide to amicably part ways. Mm-hmm. They kind of don't want to, but they really feel like there's nowhere to go in this relationship. And during all of this, the Will Arnett character, who co-wrote the script with Bradley Cooper and another writer, by the way, during the separation process, the Will Arnett character falls into, he kind of discovers that he's kind of good at amateur stand-up comedy when he accidentally stumbles upon an open mic night at a bar he happened to stumble upon one night. The cover charge was $15, and he didn't have the money, but he wanted a drink. But they said, hey, you don't have to pay the cover charge if you agree to go up and, improvise and go up to the mic and do a comedy bit. So, but this movie drove me nuts. It's an unbelievable and ridiculous premise. The amateur stand-up, he's like, oh, look at me. I may be good at this, and I can use material from my divorce as comic fodder. And oh my God, people find me funny and amusing. It's like, right. Like, really, that's going to happen in real life. Anyway, it drove me nuts until the last 18 minutes or so, which I won't spoil. But until the last 18 minutes or so, when it all of a sudden got semi-interesting, and I don't want to say anymore, but for me, with only 12 or so minutes to go, this sudden shift to substance and meaning was just way too little, way too late. So to me, this is an unrealized movie about the pain of relationships that wants to have it both ways. And the ending is this unrealistic one, in that after presenting what is a very cynical, albeit semi-truthful view of relationships, it goes for the happy ending. So it's a movie that lacks the courage of the convictions it wants you to believe that it believes, in my opinion. It's just lousy, even for rom-com fans. Although I wouldn't really classify this as a rom-com. It's more of a drom-com. But I say don't bother. Just skip it.
Don't
Just
bother.
skip it. Yeah,
Oh,
don't
what a
bother.
bummer. It sounded like it could be good, but all right.
It had, well, you know what? I will say that it is worth seeing for the final 20 minutes.
Oh,
But by that point, I just thought,
no.
well, at least they're giving me some crumbs, but it's not enough to like, it was way too little, way too late, is what I said. Yeah.
The Testament of Anne Lee.
Yeah, this is some movie. It's a stylized biography of the first leader of the Shakers religious sect. It
Oh,
spans 18th century England and America. Amanda Seyfried excellently portrays the titular protagonist in a film directed by Mona Fastvold, and it's co-written by Brady Corbet, who directed last year's The Brutalists, which we talked about on the show, which I thought was a really overrated movie. But this is a movie that is alternately striking, repetitious, strong, peculiar, ambitious, and like its subject, really fascinating. The real draw here is Amanda Seyfried as Anne Lee, who plays essentially the founder of the Shakers religious sect, known for its religious fervor. Some would say mania of expression, which was manifested or enacted, however you want to say it, in a boisterous and like physical display of wailing and flailing of the body while uttering incomprehensible guttural sounds. So the film serves as a kind of a biography, a kind of character study, and also as a kind of like musical. And this is where it gets kind of weirdly interesting, because the scenes depicting the group's religious effusions, they're enacted by this professional dance group, sometimes singing, sometimes chanting, but always moving with the precision of body movement experts.
mm-hmm.
So this stylization may turn some people off because at first it's a little jarring. I kind of liked it. Others will probably be drawn into it and drawn deeper into the film and the story it wants to tell by way of it. But yeah, it's an interesting movie. It has excellent period detail. It's got these graphic scenes of Anne Lee giving birth to dead babies. I mean, she had four children, all of whom died within the year of their birth. But these graphic childbearing scenes, if nothing else, they show you how far civilization is advanced as far as women giving birth is concerned. We've come a long way, and fortunately,
let's show Julia this movie. That's birth control right there.
Oh man, I'll tell you. But anyway, and Anne Lee herself is kind of interesting. I think the film falls on the side of her being a little mentally unstable, but she was an interesting lady. She despised sex and felt that it undermined one's spiritual development. I think she claimed that she said something like, no one could reach God while wallowing in the lust of the flesh. She says to her husband at one point, and yet she was also a staunch defender of gender and racial equality. So she was a curious mixture. Mm-hmm. It's a very artsy kind of movie, Kim. Those not attuned to that approach may find it a bit of a challenge to just engage with it. But I recommend it because, if nothing else, movie biographies, I see a lot of them, and they tend to fall into specific templates that most filmmakers adopt and just repeat. But the overall look and the overall feel of this particular movie biography, is it's a different approach, a different way to tell the life story of an historical figure and a woman who, in her very own specific way, made history. So I think it works, and I think it's interesting. It's kind of bold, and yeah, I recommend it. It's really fascinating history.
I didn't realize that this religion, the Shakers, were founded by a woman. And I thought when you talk about things like speaking tongues, that was more Pentecostal, but maybe there's some kind of connection between these two.
Yes, I think that came out of it. What I found really fascinating about the Shaker religion is that at its peak, I think it was like in 1860. It was founded in the like 1870s. But no, it was founded. It was founded in the 1770s. But in 1860, it was at its peak. It only had 6,000 members.
Oh, wow.
So it was never
Very
really,
cool.
and then it peaked, and then it just went down. And I think today, there's like 3 or 4 documented members that actually practice the religion. So it never really went anywhere, but it impacted the culture and the history at the time because they were anti-war. They were sort of misunderstood because it was during the Revolutionary War in America, where the government would want to conscript the men to fight, and they didn't want to fight. And then the women were also perceived as witches and therefore demonic and satanic. And a lot of violence was heaped on these women. So it's a very, very, very interesting story. But anyway, you were saying it's the Pentecostal thing. I think that was just as well an outgrowth of this in some strange way. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to this one, Song Sung Blue.
Yes, you know the song, right?
Song Sung Blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, this is it's a musical comedy drama film that we're told from the get-go is based on not only a true story, but on a true love story. So you go, oh, okay, this might be good. So, we've yet another biographical movie here to talk about this week, a biographical musical drama. It's directed by Hustle and Flow's Craig Brewer, and it's about, this is one of the reasons I love movies, because I really, for as many movies as I see, I always learn something. I didn't even know about what this story dramatized, but it's about Mike and Claire Sardina, who performed as the Neil Diamond tribute band, Lightning and Thunder, America's Singing Sweethearts, played by and superlatively played by Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson, respectively. They're a married couple performing as a celebrity impersonator duo, basically. And and they toured. And I'm going to sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, Kim, but I found this movie by turns kitschy, eye-rolling, shamefully manipulative, and corny as hell. Oh. But damned if it wasn't. It wasn't ultimately a great deal of feel-good fun, primarily because of the musical performances and all the Neil Diamond songs that we get to hear throughout this 132-minute movie, which I was astonished to realize all these songs had penetrated my psyche. I couldn't believe I knew all these songs, and I knew all the words to them. Yep. The title one, Cherry, Cherry, Cracklin' Rose, Holly Holy, I Am, I Said, and of course, Sweet Caroline, which there's a running joke about Sweet Caroline. It's like, that's the only song audiences wanted them to sing because it's such a popular song. But so this is Hollywood's version of the lives of Mike and Claire Sardina. And it's based, I discovered, which I'm going to check this out when I can make some time. It's based on a 2008 Sundance Award-winning documentary of the same name, which begins, but this is Hollywood's version, and so I think they play fast and loose with some of the facts. But this movie version begins as a kind of light romantic comedy, but then out of the blue it switches to a really dark and tragic drama. But no worries here. It concludes with an ending that is about as uplifting as they come. I mean, if you're not bawling your eyes out, you're ecstatic with joy. So I was painfully aware of the film's blatant emotional manipulation, but very soon into it, I just cried uncle, and I threw up my hands, and I just went with it, and I found it a very highly enjoyable movie. It's a real audience picture. It's very entertaining, with stellar musical and dramatic work from Kate Hudson and Hugh Jackman. I think Kate Hudson was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Actress for this. She's incredible. And it features all of Neil Diamond's big hits. I think this would be like a religious experience watching it with an audience. I watched it on my home television on a screening link that they provided for me, but I still found it like really it made me feel wonderful, and so I ain't gonna criticize it.
Yvonne says, I'm from Wisconsin, right? You got to be a little corny. So,
yeah, well, okay.
Well, she said they're from Wisconsin.
They're from Wisconsin. Okay, yeah. Well, Yvonne said that. I didn't.
I don't know. I feel like you see a movie like this, you cannot not sing. And probably
Oh my God.
leave the
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
theater singing too, right?
No, well, there's a scene at the end where they do get the audience in the movie to sing that dollars to donuts. If an audience was watching this, they would be singing along too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's how. I mean, in a way, it's artful the way this movie just totally manipulates you. I mean, it really does. And like I say, I always look for those kind of things, and I'm going, oh my God, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're using these kind of mechanics. But like I said, at some point, I just said, oh, I don't care. This movie is funner than hell, you know. So anyway, I really recommend it. It's probably the most entertaining movie of the week, and it opens tomorrow on Christmas Day in theaters.
Opens Christmas Day. Okay. Classic movie recommendation of the week time, and I kind of let the cat out of the bag last week, but we didn't hear what you had to say about The Life of Emile Zola.
Yeah, this is a Warner Brothers. God, so many biographical movies we're talking about this week, but it's a biographical classic from 1937 about the life of French novelist Emile Zola, starring Paul Muni, who was he was kind of Hollywood's designated portrayer of great men, great historical figures. He won an Oscar playing Louis Pasteur. He played Benito Juarez. He played Chopin's teacher, Joseph Elsner. He played Napoleon. He played Franz Schubert, the composer, in other films. He was kind of like the Sir Ben Kingsley of his time. Anyway, this movie is about his life with an emphasis on his fight for, there's in the picture there, the emphasis in the movie was on his fight for the freedom of the framed Jewish officer Alfred Dreyfus, brilliantly played by Joseph Schildkraut, who won a Best Supporting Actor Oscar that year for his portrayal. And though it deviates from the facts a bit, it's basically faithful to history. It's very well scripted. It's packed with authentic period details. And for those watching, listening who are unfamiliar, Alfred Dreyfus was a French army officer. He was best known for his central role in what was known as the Dreyfus Affair, which in 1894, was the Dreyfus Affair was a judicial conspiracy in which Dreyfus was wrongfully accused and convicted of being a German spy, but the prosecution of him was riddled with anti-Semitism. He wound up going to, being imprisoned at Devil's Island, and he went through hell. But these are some of the best scenes in the movie. These dramatically brilliant courtroom scenes, which the movies seem to be able to portray better than any other art form. Movie courtroom scenes, when they're well done, like they are in this movie, are just amazing. And it's interesting in the movie too. You never hear uttered the word. You never hear anybody say the word Jew. Undoubtedly, I suspect it was as a result of what was happening to Jews around the world at that time, 1937, what was going on in Germany and stuff. So I think Warner's was sensitive to that. So they carefully never used the word, although it was obvious that this was a anti-Semitic story. So it's a great drama. It's a superb entryway into Emile Zola's life and the history of that period in which he lived and wrote. The movie begins with this anguished Zola being censored by the French government and public for his frank treatment of squalid life and social problems in his novel. He wrote this famous novel called Nana, which was based on his own experiences with a prostitute. So, it was, it was very controversial for its time. But anyway, it's a great historical drama. It's a riveting biography. And actually, now that I think of it, it won the Academy Award for Best Picture of 1937.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, somebody can check that, but I'm pretty sure it won the Oscar that year for Best Movie. Anyway, and it's streaming. Where else? Now on Amazon Prime. People couldn't see it if they've got Amazon Prime.
Okay, I'm just double checking you. I know that you're right. You're always right. Let's see.
1937.
It would have been the ninth
38.
Academy Awards.
It would be. Sometime check 19. The award for the Best Picture of 1937 though is given out in 1938. So
Okay, so they said that for 1937 it was the Great Ziegfeld.
okay, see that in my mind is 36. So check 38. I bet it's check 1938. See what it says.
38. That was the 10th Academy Awards and held at the Biltmore Bowl in the Biltmore Hotel.
Yeah.
And let's see who had it. Actor in a supporting role. Actress got to scroll to the bottom to get to the best.
There were I think there were 10 nominees that year for picture.
Oh.
I could be wrong.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. I swear I'm gonna find it. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I'm not gonna find it.
Can't you just Google Best Picture of 1938?
Best Actor is Paul Muni for The Life of Emile Zola.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's correct. I think he won the Oscar for playing Louis Pasteur, not for Emile Zola, but I could be wrong. Anyway,
he was nominated. My apologies. Yeah.
Nominated. Okay, yeah, but didn't it win Best Picture? Wait, I'm going to go on my computer, which I never do. This is a first. I've never done this.
First. We're going to make it happen.
I don't even like to look at it.
Now we have to know. I mean,
now we have to know. Wait a minute here. Okay.
It's so hard to figure it out.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah, it was The Life of Emile Zola. You're correct.
Okay, good. All right, good.
It won in 1938.
Right, for 1937. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They give out the awards in the following year for the previous year. That's how the Oscars work.
And the man who played the William Dieterle.
William Dieterle actually directed it.
The Oscar for Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, Joseph Schildkraut. Yeah,
that's him. He won the Best Supporting Actor. We got it. Okay. Yeah.
Did you ever see The Diary of Anne Frank?
Yes.
Yeah, that movie. It was a 1959 black and white movie. It was directed by George Stevens. Joseph Schildkraut also played Anne Frank's father in that movie. He always played these dignified, very well composed and carried himself well kind of characters. I always loved him as an actor. Yeah, there he is.
All right, we're gonna here it comes, Avatar. This movie is Fire and Ash. The Avatar Fire and Ash. You said this was a long movie, 3 hours 17 minutes. But if you see it, you said see it in the theater because the 3D is breathtaking and stunning, but the story doesn't stand out here. The visuals are amazing. You recommend it because it's kind of, you said it's bang for your buck with the length of the movie.
Yeah.
You were like, meh. Marty Supreme, this is a ping pong table tennis drama. And I have to say, you didn't love it. You said it's a well-made movie. It's very cinematic, and you couldn't really find anything wrong with it. It just really did not appeal to you. It was with characters that were unsavory and cruel and unpleasant. This whole story left you with a bad taste in your mouth. And you said of Chalamet in this role that it's more of an impersonation than a real character, and the movie wasn't doing it for you, so you're not recommending that one.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Is This Thing On? You didn't love this one either. You said it drove you crazy until the very last part, and then there was a sudden shift to substance, but it was too little, too late. It's a lousy movie. Don't bother with Is This Thing On? Skip it.
And in answer to the question, is this thing on? I say absolutely not.
Not on. It's very off. The Testament of Anne Lee. It's artsy. There's some cool period detail here. You said this movie is striking, fascinating, and ambitious. It has a very interesting stylization. It works because it's interesting and it's bold, but you said there are some graphic childbearing scenes in this movie, so beware of that. That is The Testament of Anne Lee, and you're recommending that. Songs Sung Blue, a surprise, but Tim Sika liked this movie, even though he called it kitschy, corny, and emotionally manipulative. He said it's also good fun because of the music in this movie and the performances. You said you submitted to this movie.
Yes.
And you liked it. And it's got an
Submitted. Yeah. Yeah.
uplifting ending. You said the movie is fun and it's entertaining and it opens on Christmas Day in theaters. And your classic movie recommendation of the week, The Life of Emile Zola, you said this is a great historical drama. We have confirmed that it did win the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1938. Emile Zola, The Life of Emile Zola, is streaming on Prime Video. So as you're kind of keeping cozy in the rain, keep it in mind. That's Tim Sika's classic movie recommendation of the week. And I have to say, Tim, Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you. And you'll get a nice little break from the show. Nice.
Yeah, it's a 4-day weekend over here.
4-day weekend. Love it. Love it.
Love it. Thank you, Tim.
Okay.
Sika.
Okay,
I'm so glad you
Kim.
could make it. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks, Kim.
Happy
Bye.
holidays. Bye. Oh, there he was. There he is at the movies with Tim Sika. Let's move to the story about Banksy, because I know this show might be a little short today, but I wanted to show you what Banksy has left us for the holidays. There it is. You could see these two kids. Here's a close-up of them. And this was left on a building with these two murals of these children looking up and pointing at the sky. This is on a building in London, obviously the UK. Children in winter coats just laying there looking up at the sky and pointing up. It's on a row of garages in London, and very cool. Have attributed this to Banksy, and it was left in time for the holidays. So they say that he decided to paint in this area for a reason. This office tower was built in 1966, and then it sat empty for quite a while. And then it was opened as a shelter for homeless youths in a nearby church area. And they were frustrated by this empty building towering over the neighborhood. There was a protest about the rising homelessness in London. So this is all happening right in this spot. And that is why he picked it to paint here. He, of course, is known as for his street art that doubles as social commentary. And in this mural, you see one of the kids here is pointing skyward like they're stargazing. Some people think that it has to do with the imagination of children. And others say this is more about all being in the gutter together, but some of us looking toward the stars. So that is what Banksy leaves us for the Christmas holiday. It was posted, it was painted, and then a picture of it was posted on his official Instagram account on December 22nd. So I wanted to show you that. There's a kind of a weird thing that happened with this concert. Oopsies. StubHub mistakenly listed a Christian show as a Lamb of God metal concert. That's a big mistake. It was misadvertised. The show was at Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium, but it was supposed to be, the real show is Andrew Peterson's Behold the Lamb of God, which is this Christian spiritual about the birth of Jesus. The show was held on December 20th, but they mistakenly advertised it as heavy metal band Lamb of God. And they had a picture of the band's lead singer. You can see here. Now they're saying, oops, it was our mistake. Ahead of the show, we updated the event page and reached out to customers to clarify the event details. Anyone who purchased tickets under the impression it was a different kind of performance is being encouraged to contact StubHub, and they will fully refund them. Can you imagine the people thinking that they were going to see this metal concert, and what they ended up was with a Christian spiritual? Yeah, I don't think that's what they were hoping for. Here's this kid this is him in 2021, this boy. He built this amazing tower out of toothpicks, and he is now at it again, this Illinois teenager. His name is Eric. His dad is a civil engineer, and that really inspired him to get building from a young age, and now he's got a Guinness World Record. He built a really tall Eiffel Tower, and he built it out of toothpicks. Here it is. This is the Toothpick Eiffel Tower, and it is 17 feet and 32 inches tall. 20,000 toothpicks were used to build this Eiffel Tower. He said, when I was younger, I just got really interested in building things out of popsicle sticks. So he built the 20-foot tower from popsicle sticks in 2021. That was when he was 12 years old. And that's when he got his first Guinness World Record. So that was this one. But now he's not stopping, and he's going with the toothpick Eiffel Tower for another world record. He said the annoying thing about toothpicks compared to popsicle sticks is they're really, really tiny. He used toothpicks and glue, and that is all, to build this Eiffel Tower. And again, 17 feet, 32 inches tall, and it now is the record for the world's tallest toothpick sculpture. Since we're not going to be here for the next couple of days, I do want to let you know that there is some really cool sky watching happening. This is going to be on Sunday night, the final night of 2025, Sunday night into early Monday morning, and it is the Ursid meteor shower. It is the best chance, they say, to see it between, you get 5 and 10 meteors per hour. Best time to see it between midnight and 5 a.m. on Monday, or between 9 p.m. on Sunday and 2 a.m. on Monday. And that would be Pacific Standard Time for us here on the West Coast. The shower is coinciding with the winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere. And it's just supposed to be really cool. The shower only visible to people in the Northern Hemisphere because of the point from which the meteors appear, the so-called radiant, never rising high enough into the sky to be seen in the Southern Hemisphere. So the meteors, called the Ursids, originate in the bowl of the Little Dipper, called Ursa Minor constellation. So it's gonna be good for people who are able to see it. Hopefully it won't be overcast and stormy, and people will be able to check it out. That is the After Party Live. We wrap it up on this Christmas Eve day. Thank you guys so much for being here, for spending time, for hanging out on this Christmas Eve day. I do want to say happy birthday to Phineas. His birthday, I believe, is on Sunday. Of course, a happy birthday to Mark Thompson as well. And because of that, I do have to play Jacob's video. So let me take down the Ursid meteor shower, and I'll get right to Jacob for a little happy birthday wish. And here it is.
You requested your happy birthday song, so I'm gonna give you one. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to Phineas, and huge thank you to Jane O, or Jano, aka Jano Rama, I believe as well, with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Kim, for the After Party Live. Grateful to you and the chatters. You are all amazing. Wishing everyone a beautiful and cozy holiday. Thank you so much for the much needed contribution to this show. Really appreciate it so much. Love this message too from Yvonne with all the tropical emojis there. Happy joy. And Rhonda says, last weekend I discovered Secondhand Lions. What a feel-good movie, and it's free on YouTube. I'll have to check that one out. Huge thank you to Debbie. Wow, a $50 contribution to the show. Merry Christmas, Kim. She says, thank you for all you do. You are a rocker star. I will take the rocker star. I will be the rock star. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you for the generous contribution. And thank you, Jane, for your generous contribution as well. Just so appreciated. I can't tell you. I hope you guys have a really good holiday. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. Stay cozy. And I hope you feel the joy of the season. For those of you who are under the weather, please feel better. And happy birthday to Phineas and to Mark. And from now until Monday, make it the very best weekend you can. Enjoy all the movies and enjoy family and each other's company. And I'll meet you back here on Monday. Bye, everybody.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.